I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back from your holiday. Hope you're having a wonderful year as we come to the close of 2020. I'm Francis. He's Giulio. This is Oops, the podcast. Gee, how are you?
Good, man. Feeling good. Ending the year, you know?
Yeah, this is everyone talks about this every year, but this period between Christmas and New Year's truly is a black hole of just nobody knows what's going on.
Totally. And to be honest, I've been getting anxiety about it a little bit because I'm like, I'm in the like turn it off mode. And I'm always like, I feel this constant pressure to be posting more, like, you know, the more I post, the more my following grows and it'll help my this and that. And if I'm not, then I'm being irresponsible. And it's like, it's hard to turn off that muscle in my brain.
You sound like a TikToker.
But you know what I mean, though? I'm serious.
You are a TikToker.
You know, fucking TikTok, baby.
Yeah, I guess I understand that. I've been thinking a lot about social media lately. I recently heard about this trick of making your account private.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get to retain more followers or something. Your follower growth happens a lot more quickly. And so I switched to that, and it's been a lot on my mind.
The inside scoop.
Well, then all of a sudden you start seeing everybody who's actually following you, and you wonder what their stories are.
Oh,
Takes you
right.
back to the days when you first started having an Instagram account.
I know. Dude, remember those days?
Yeah, those were the days, man.
Those were the fucking days.
You followed everyone back who followed you.
Yeah. It's true.
But lots to think about, man. This is the time of year when it's the most acceptable to me to go on a bender, to drink.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Big
during
time.
the day, all day long.
Big time.
This is when everyone gets it in before they do some kind of like sober January. Fucking bullshit.
So a couple things. First of all, for anybody who was wondering, I was in Atlanta last week.
Yeah.
I think. I forget exactly what day this episode's coming out, but I don't know if everybody was wondering. I was there for work, and I didn't necessarily want to be traveling. Because I know COVID's kind of like crazy right now, so I don't want people to think that I'm just kind of like gallivanting around the way that I have been.
Right.
But I was there doing a commercial, which was great.
How'd it go?
It was great, man. I mean, commercials for people who wonder about them, because I know that friends of mine ask about them, and people ask about them in general. But they're amazing because you get paid to do all this stuff, and typically you only shoot one day. So. Yeah. I had to take a COVID test. That's a day of work. You get paid for a full day for that.
Whoa,
yep.
Really?
Yep. Then there's a travel day. And if you travel more than X amount of miles, you have to be flown first class. So, and you get paid to do that. So you're getting paid to fly first class. Then there's a third day that's a fitting day. Mm-hmm. And that you go for an hour and try on your clothes. And that's another work day. Mm-hmm. Then you finally shoot day 4. And, you know, it's for me, this time it was a half day shoot. And then the 5th day you travel back, and that's another day. So you get paid for all those days. And then if the commercial airs, you make like 10 times more money than you made on those 5 work days where you were already overpaid.
Yes.
So it's a potentially incredible thing.
It's probably the lowest amount of work for the highest multiple.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's crazy.
And before, you were running around to auditions. So you're kind of like, if you break it all down, with the amount of time you've been spending going on auditions, the money ends up being a little more reasonable. Mm-hmm. But now, since you're auditioning on Zoom, there's no opportunity cost.
It's unreal.
It's pretty cool.
That's unreal.
So yeah, it was good to be down
Giulio,
there,
for the record, is a master auditioner. And I say this because I have taken commercial acting classes. I took a commercial acting intensive. I got a commercial agent out of it. This is all before I worked at Barstool.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. How cool.
And I got an agent, and then I booked a couple commercials, two really good ones. I booked an AT&T commercial that I was the only actor in.
Unbelievable.
I was the only guy. The whole thing was about me.
Incredible.
And then that one it was supposed to originally just be on the web, but then it got added to print. And then something else. It wasn't a national TV.
But every bump you get paid. If they do anything with it, you get paid more.
Exactly.
Which is awesome.
And it ran forever.
It's great.
Forever.
It's great, man.
And so I would just get these checks every 10 weeks or something that would be like some number between like $4,000 and $5,000. You never knew what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was like 2, and then all of a sudden you'd get another one 2 weeks later, and there was no rhyme or reason for where this money was coming from.
It's so complicated.
Yeah.
And as long as you're in a position where you're not dependent on that income, it's the greatest bonus money.
Free money.
Of all time.
Free money.
You're not even expecting it.
So before that AT&T commercial, I had actually booked a Humira commercial, which is the arthritis medicine.
Yeah, yes.
And this one was a big deal. It was like they had 30 extras.
Wow.
It was a wedding scene.
Sick.
And so I was in the bridal party,
Did he shoot in New York?
It was some mansion that was rented. It was like a place where people would actually have a real wedding. Almost maybe like a country club type place.
Right.
And they'd rented it out for the day.
Sick.
Big banquet hall. And there was a bride and a groom, and I was the bride's brother, and with her whole big athletic strong family. And the groom was this kind of diminutive, weaselly guy. And we were all hugging him on the dance floor, passing him around. I picked him up at one point and put him on my shoulders and squatted him, pounding him. He's grimacing, and the whole idea was that he had back pain and that being welcomed into his wife's family was something that made him need Humira.
It's physically painful.
Now, what was really cool about that commercial was with a pharmaceutical drug like that treats lots of different symptoms, the more things that it treats, the more different brands you get prevented from auditioning for their commercials.
All right.
Right? So conflicts.
Yes.
Right? If you get booked for a Pepsi commercial, they don't want you going out and booking a Coke commercial or even a Dr. Pepper commercial, right?
So it'll say like beverages.
Yeah.
So you can't go for them as long as they're paying you holding.
Right. But the longer that list of conflicts, the more that the Screen Actors Guild, which is the union that we're both members of,
Yes.
says, well, if you're going to prevent this guy from going out to work to try to find work for these brands, you need to pay him more.
Oh, it's great.
And so with Humira, the scale was, the list of things that it treated was so long, it even included like erectile dysfunction. and so I couldn't go out for Cialis or Viagra commercials.
Which you probably don't want to go out for anyway.
No.
That's great.
But there were so many drugs on it that they bumped it up to a 2x scale commercial.
Oh, that's great.
And I was getting basically double pay for all of this. And these big drug companies, they don't care about, they have so much money that they don't care about whether the commercial even airs.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
So I think they had already booked years of commercials that they intended to air, and ours was just on the back burner.
And just never came out.
Dude, I'm telling you, I was getting holding checks. I must have shot this commercial in like 2013. I was getting holding checks for it through 2018.
That's crazy.
5 years later, and it never aired.
That's
and
crazy.
Finally, one day I emailed the agent, the commercial agent, who had at this point dropped me because she said I was too toxic based on being fired from Barstool.
That's crazy.
As I've said, the only person in my life that said that.
That's crazy.
And I said, hey, I haven't seen a check from the Humira holding for a long time. And she was like, oh yeah, they decided not to air it and it's over.
Wow, dude.
But dude, I didn't even care at that point. I mean, I guess in a way I was sad to not see it, what it would look like, but I had received tens and tens of thousands of dollars of holding checks.
Pretty incredible.
And they would just come out of nowhere. So, it definitely paid for itself.
Dude, it's great. I did one time I've only done one for a medicine. It was for like this thing called Dermira, I think. And essentially it's like for people who sweat a shit ton. And the commercial was so embarrassing. It was like, you had to be like, you're holding your armpits up. And because before you were like upset because there was a pit stain. It was like the most embarrassing shit. And it never aired, but I still got paid the full session. Like you said, like I still got the amount of money that I was supposed to get, and no one ever had to see me be embarrass myself.
What's the, you don't have to tell us the brand, but do you have a commercial that comes to mind that is your highest paying commercial ever? Yeah.
And it's funny because it's a commercial that you don't even know that I'm in it. It's a commercial that you've all seen that you wouldn't even know I'm in it because of how little that I'm in it. And I made like almost $100,000 on it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's bananas.
I know.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question.
That's by
and if
far
you-
the most,
If
though.
you can't answer this, don't worry.
That's okay.
Is there any truth to the fact that you were aware on set that you might not be in the shot?
Yes.
So you leaned forward
Oh, okay. So this, okay.
to make sure that you were in frame, which is what made the difference
Yes.
between you getting paid as a featured actor in the commercial and not.
Correct. Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, that's true.
I didn't know if you'd be okay
That's fine.
admitting that, because that's one of my favorite things
Yeah.
you've ever done.
It's the scooch of a lifetime, dude.
It's a scooch. That's all he did. He scooched.
I scooched into the shot. And literally, it's like a bar scene. So there's 4 of us at the bar, but it's from the side. So you can see the person who's the forefront of the bar. And I'm pretty sure I was all the way on the end. If I wasn't, I was the second from the end. And I scooched forward, and therefore my head was into the shot. Now, I knew that I did that on purpose because I was like, just in case I'd been cut out of so many commercials. I was like, I'm going to get in this one. So I scooched whatever. I made sure I was in it. And somebody on set even said something like, actors always know where the camera is.
Wow.
Someone made some comment like that. Fuck that guy. I don't give a shit. And then, dude, so then they were doing close-ups, and we all were supposed to have close-ups. And last second, for some reason, they decided not to do the close-ups of me and the girl sitting next to me. So we both were like, shit. She started crying.
Oh my God.
She started crying. She's like, oh, I can't believe da-da-da. So we're both really stressed out about it, to the point where I even changed my paperwork. I changed the way they were going to take taxes out because I thought that it was going to be a big commercial. So I wanted to pay taxes because I didn't want to owe a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So I changed it from a 0 to a 1 because I was like, I'm fucked. I'm going to get cut out.
You talking about on your W-9?
Yeah. Or W4.
Or whatever it
Whatever
is?
it was.
Yeah.
So dude, it's just a crazy game, man. But there's been like one time, to your point, like I had to go to Europe once to shoot one for 5 days to Prague to shoot a commercial that
Wow.
I just got completely cut out of. And it was a double scale, like you were saying. So
Yeah.
like, it's incredible the amount of money that these companies are willing to waste.
They are. It's crazy.
I hope they continue to waste that money because it's like
Yeah.
very important to my well-being.
Yeah. Well, I think that there are people, there are actors who make their entire living on commercials.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then they'll have room to go out for passion projects, whether it's a small local theater play,
Right.
for which they get paid next to nothing, or, put together an indie film, which again, they're not getting paid much for, but you get your commercial, and then that's your salary for the year.
Right. And then, like you said, it frees you up to either, work. And I have tons of like random projects, as you all know, that like maybe aren't that lucrative. Like Lil Young Big definitely costs more than he's made. Let's just say that. So it's nice to have some extra money to play around and do fun shit,
So would you say that, let me ask you this. How many commercial auditions would you say you do in a regular year?
In a normal year, does this include voiceovers or just on camera?
Sure, let's include voiceovers.
Probably 90.
Okay, let's call it 100.
Yeah.
How many of those 100 are you booking now?
The last couple years I've gotten lucky, and this is like a skewed year because there's less auditions. So it's hard to, I can't base it.
In the most recent full, more normal year.
3 probably.
So 3 for 100, right? Now, that's good.
Yeah, I know.
That's 1 every 33.
That's crazy.
And that's kind of what they say you're supposed to, if you're a good commercial actor, you're supposed to get that. Would you say that you've gotten better? I mean, have you increased the likelihood, your hit rate, since you started going out for commercials?
So, yeah. And there's a couple things that play into that. One of them is in the past 18 months or 2 years, I didn't go to LA for a month. And somehow that helped me booking commercials because going to LA would kind of like kill my momentum. And like I would book out for my agency and they wouldn't send me. And now like once I've been here for big chunks of time, like the big casting directors are always calling me in and I've been getting way more callbacks. And I think part of that is from familiarity. They're like, we know this guy can book. We know he's solid. We're at least going to throw him through the director. But dude, early in my career, someone told me, I was like at this other commercial agent and she was like, when you hit your 30s, you're going to start booking a lot.
She said that to you?
Yeah, and it's crazy that it's like been true.
Wow.
I don't know what it is.
Wow, that's interesting.
But yeah, man.
So are you currently on the payroll for commercials that you've done in the past? Are you still receiving residual checks right now from other commercials you've done?
So I'm on hold for 2. one that the Scooch one, I'm still getting holding fees for.
Wow.
And the one I did this in June, the Bud Light one, I thought that was just on hold too, but now I'm getting like random checks for like cable unit upgrades, like you said, all this random shit. So I think I'm sort of still in the pay sphere for that, but I'm hoping that this other one runs a ton.
Boy, it's fascinating. It's
really
such
is, right?
it's such a strange lottery ticket for the actor who can pull it off, and it makes me sad that I'm not doing it anymore because it's just, as you said, you it's not that much work to do the auditions now. You book it, you go out for. Dude, I went out. I auditioned. The last commercial I auditioned for was for Dr. Pepper.
Cool.
I'm talking the doctor of Dr. Pepper.
There's a
To be their spokesperson.
Oh, wow.
To be the
Cool.
flow of Dr. Pepper.
That's cool.
And I didn't get a call back, so I didn't get even, close. But I think they had that guy who was supposed to be kind of like a Prince knockoff.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet taste. That guy. He was their spokesperson for a long
Wow.
time. And then they were looking to replace him, I think. And I was going out to be that kind of guy.
Those are tough to see when you don't get them.
It
hurts.
It is, but it was also going to be a lot of work. They already had stipulated that if you got the role, you would be expected to shoot new commercials
Oh, right.
for them once
the time.
every couple months. Now, granted, you'd be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Flo,
Oh, yeah.
or the guy from hotels.com,
Yeah.
Captain Obvious,
They kill it.
or
But then you can't do anything else for a while, which
You're
sucks,
not-
but whatever. Who gives a
exactly.
fuck? I'll take the money.
exactly. But people say that Flo has had good acting roles.
Has she?
I think she was in, I don't want to say Mad Men, but she's had decent other side stuff. At the same time, she's so synonymous with that brand
It's hard to shake.
that I wonder if she feels that there's a bit of a gift and a curse to it.
Right. She's like pigeonholed or something.
Yeah.
But dude, I got really close to being Jake from State Farm.
The new one?
Yeah. That guy kills it. And like, I remember leaving that because
This is so funny that we all know these
I know.
these names are just so ubiquitous.
I mean, who knows like how close I actually was, but I did get a call back and I was in the room for a really long time. And I texted my girlfriend when I left. I was like, I might have gotten that. And then I didn't. But
Wow.
like, those are the ones, like that guy's making a ton of money.
So hold on a second.
He has his own
he's-
Twitter account.
Dude, I see him in 5-second ads on YouTube
He's
before they.
everywhere.
Yeah. Now, hold on a second. They had an original Jake from State Farm. Do you remember the first Jake from State Farm commercial? It might not have been the first, but it was
How
the one
long
that
ago was
ran the
it?
longest, where it was like a guy on the phone late at night. His wife comes down. She's like, "Who you talking to?" And he's like, "Jake from State Farm." And she gets on the phone. She goes, "What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?" And he goes, khakis. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it was some schlubby guy in a phone sort of messaging center, in like a call center, and it was a kind of a loserish white guy, right?
Interesting.
They replaced that Jake from State Farm with a handsome young black guy.
That's really funny. I read for that one, but I also read for some of the ones that the handsome young black guy
So
has done,
this
which
is-
means that they replaced the first guy.
They did a
That's
total
crazy.
rebrand of the
Interesting.
character.
Interesting.
And to me, I knew Jake from State Farm to be this funny piece of shit. So when all of a sudden Jake from State Farm was like upgraded to this really good-looking young
Charming, muscular guy.
black guy, I remember thinking like, whoa, I felt like shocked. but it's great. I mean, the new State Farm is way better. The new Jake from State Farm is way better than the old
He's
Jake
great.
from State Farm.
He's really great.
But I wonder how that old Jake from State Farm is doing sometimes.
It might have taken him a while to get over the
Yeah.
depression of that.
Yeah.
What's up, Chris?
I dressed as him for every year in college, 4 years in a row.
Jake from State Farm?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
100% serious.
That's great. Good
Nice.
for you, man. That's
Might
a
as well
solid.
keep that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, I got lots to talk to you about.
Love it.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever brought something up in your current relationship as a memory, but actually it happened in a previous relationship?
Oh man, I think unfortunately the thing, I've never actually done that, but I have tattoos of other people on my body. So
that's worse.
that's worse. That's some in the same vein, but no, not what you're talking
So
about. But
what I mean is,
right, being like,
you
remember
know,
when we went ice
went to
skating?
this? Right, yeah.
Right.
Remember when we hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, and then she's like, "That wasn't me," and then you're like, "Oh, are you sure? It wasn't you?"
That's a bad one, dude. If that's like
Yeah.
a monumental memory like
Yeah.
that, like
No,
wow, the
that-
sunrise over Tanzania.
That's a really extreme one. Usually for me, it's restaurants where I say, like, we've been here before. And then she'll be like, no, we fucking haven't. And now here's my point, right? Look, you get to a certain point in life where the memories start to blend together.
That's very true.
And I don't want to blame the multiple concussions that I've had or the fact that I smoked too much pot, but you got to start letting people off the hook a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know, is it so insulting that you've conflated two fond memories, you know?
Does she get mad?
Fortunately, this hasn't happened that much with my current girlfriend, which actually to me is a good sign. It makes me think that
That
the
is a good
memories
sign.
she and I have created together
Are better.
are more clear and enduring. But definitely past, especially when you're in a period of your life where you're, you know, dating people for a couple months, 3 months, 5 months, whatever, insignificant periods of time, and you're just running around, you're doing a lot of stuff.
Totally.
It all washes together.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And plus, the more body, the higher your body count gets as you get older, it becomes harder to keep track of everything, dude.
Uh-huh.
You know, like even our
Body count. It's just-
my current girlfriend has gotten annoyed at me in the past because I didn't know how old some of my exes are. She's like, "How do you not know how old they are?" I'm like, "I just don't know." I'll be like, "She's roughly 27."
Yeah.
And she'll be like, "What do you mean roughly?" She's like, "You don't know how old they actually are." She's like, "Why do you do this thing where you like think it's cool to not know how old they are?" I'm like, "I actually don't know how old they are."
Yeah, but it also sounds like when people say things like, he would have been 14 today. It's like, if he hadn't survived the avalanche. It's like, yeah, we broke up. Then she was dead to me. I'm not going to do the math to know if she'd survived, you know, how old she'd be today.
No, it becomes like like one of those word problems on like a test you have to take to get into Stuyvesant. It's like, in 2012, you were 24. She was 18. Rough.
Good for you, by the way.
No, but it's just, yeah, right. Seriously.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to keep track, man. And the older you get, especially, and I think that it honestly might be because my girlfriend's younger.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was her age, not to sound like a fucking grandfather, but when I was her age, it was much easier to keep track of all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, you know, there's high school memories, there's college memories, and there's adult memories, and those are all the same length.
Yes.
All of a sudden, you're an adult, and 10 years go by, and you've been doing the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's much harder to keep track of. You know?
I hear you, dude. I hear you. And that's really well said. 10 years go by, you're doing the same shit. That I got to tell you about my weekend. I got to tell you.
Let's hear it.
Because, oh, man.
Let's hear it.
Well, we've spoken so much lately on the podcast about alcohol.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I consider myself to be a very temperate drinker. And I profess a doctrine of moderation. And I try to counsel people towards that. And sure enough, on the heels of being Mr. Soapbox, you know, don't drink too much, mix in a water, Saturday, I had another poker game. Just 5 friends this time, you know, trying to keep the numbers down. And also, I know people will disagree with this, but these are friends that are kind of in my quarantine circle.
Got it.
You know, in the same way that you two are, where I'm seeing only these people. We're not like letting a lot of other people into our group. So
RIP acquaintances. Dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. RIP introductions.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
No new friends.
So they came over and we did another boys poker day.
Love it.
And you know, 3:00 on a Saturday, there was a Saturday football game.
Fun.
So we got excited about that. We had that on the background. We're playing cards. And I'm drinking beers. you know, and I have the cans. I'm like sitting next to the bookshelf, so I'm putting my empty cans on the bookshelf. And at one point, I turned in my chair, and I saw 6 of them, and I was like, huh, "Whoa, good for you, you little dog." And then someone brought out a bottle of whiskey, and next thing you know, the whiskey's going down, and it tastes like maple syrup.
Oh boy.
And
That's the surefire sign Francis is in trouble.
dude, it's into the brown liquor, and then someone brought out a joint,
Oh God.
and or I think we had like individual joints actually
boy.
because nobody wanted to share joints. And I took two puffs, dude. I got so crossfaded.
Oh no.
So crossfaded, which by the way
It's the
is one of my
worst feeling.
favorite terms.
It's a good term
It's such a perfect term.
for what that is.
It's when you get the spins because you've smoked and you've had too much to drink.
And puking does not help you when you're
Dude.
crossfaded. You need to sleep it off. The only way.
I at 7:40. 7:40 p.m.
Oh.
The saliva glands in my mouth turned on as if it was there was a smoke alarm, like a fire alarm
God.
in my mouth, and I just started drooling inside my mouth, and I could taste it. I could taste that acrid bile precursor, the pre-cum of vomit. That the pre-cum of puke bubbling up from the depths, and I
my God,
stood up
dude.
from my chair. I'm very fortunate that I do know the warning signs, right? So I've never been the guy who like threw up in the middle of something.
Right.
So
That's good.
I said, "Excuse me," and I had this sense of I haven't eaten anything since brunch, which was like 10 a.m. So I leaned into my girlfriend and I said, "Hey, can you?" Apparently, I said this. I don't remember saying this. I said, "Can you order food for everyone?" She goes, "Yeah, sure." I said, "I'll be right back." I went downstairs. I went into the bathroom. I turned on the sink in the shower to create ambient noise, like in A Quiet Place when John Krasinski brings his son to the river and they scream together.
Oh yeah.
Because the monsters can't hear them. And I lifted up. Oh, I might have even folded a towel to put under my knees because I knew I was going to be there for a while.
Yeah. You
I
need
knew
to
this was
create like
gonna
a
be,
makeshift bed.
This fight was going the distance.
It's like a wartime hospital.
15 rounds of thinking you're done, you're not done.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I proceeded to throw up for 45 minutes.
Yeah, dude.
To the point where there was absolutely nothing left in my stomach, and you're just retching, but nothing's coming out. And I don't mean to get graphic. I clean myself up, brush my teeth, slide under the covers of bed. I don't know what time it is. I pull out my phone, and this was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I text my girlfriend, like, I am too fucked up. And I wasn't hitting the right letters. So I kept getting like 3 letters in and having to delete it and start over.
Oh God.
And
Really?
dude,
One eye.
here's one of the most telling stories about me. I finished the message after what must have been 30 efforts. And I took out of the cockeyed glance, the whole room is spinning. The letters are blurred. I can see that I spelled the 2 in I'm too fucked up with 1 O.
Oh.
So I couldn't live with that. And I deleted fucked up and just went back, added an O. I'm TOO fucked up, finished the message, sent it, and then passed out. And I slept from 8 p.m. until 9 a.m. the following day. 13 hours.
Oh my God. Dude, that is incredible.
Just absolutely, just removed myself from being fun. Apparently, my friends upstairs were like, should we go? They knew what was going on. My girlfriend was like, no, I just ordered 5 pizzas. And then they all had a really good time.
How late did they stay?
I don't even know. I don't know what time she came into bed.
That's great, dude.
I don't know anything.
For a second, I thought you were going to say that you just said, I am too. And that was it. I'm too. Okay.
I am as well.
Dude, so that's all right. So I have a couple questions about this. First of all, do you think there's anything that the beer before, like, does the beer before liquor apply here?
Yes.
It must.
Yes, it does. But, here's the thing.
The
dude.
old rule.
You get to a point in life where you think you're invincible.
You think you're above that.
Where you say,
these little childish
I've-
rules.
I don't drink the way I did in college, which is like you playing, beer pong into flip cup, into shots.
Right.
That, an igloo cooler of jungle juice where you have no idea what went into it.
Right.
All of a sudden, like, where am I? What's going on? It's not like that,
Yeah.
You're measuring, you're pouring drinks with ice. You think, well, this is a classy adult situation. We're playing cards. It's a long, slow burn. I'm going to be fine. Sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
You're never over the
You're
hump.
never too old for that, dude. I crossfaded like a year ago, and in the house I live in, there's a secret bathroom.
Ooh.
So I went into the secret bathroom, and it was such a like dark moment. Like I could hear, "Where's Giulio?" I just hear that from the other room. I'm lying on the ground, like you said, with the towel, and my shirt, I had taken it off to wipe the sweat off of my. I couldn't see, dude, and it got to the point where my shirt was so wet from sweat that I was just like drowning in my. It was so dark.
You think you're gonna die?
You think you're gonna die? It's the worst feeling in the world.
I will say that one thing I remember learning in college, because being in the bed when the room is totally spinning, even though you've been throwing up a bunch, I think I got into bed and then got back up and was like, I'm not ready to not be in front of a toilet yet.
Yeah.
But one thing you can try, which sometimes works for me, is take one of your legs and pull it out of the covers and put it on the ground.
Whoa.
As like a kickstand.
Whoa.
Your other leg can be up, but if you put one leg on the ground, somehow it steadies the room a little bit.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully I never have to try that, because hopefully I'll never be that fucked
I
up
know.
again.
I know.
But
It
dude, there's
sucks.
something so comforting about the toilet in that situation. Like if I can just get naked and lie on the cold floor with my porcelain pal right there, dude.
Yeah.
You actually feel sort of better. You're
You
like,
do.
okay.
It sounds like a Dido song. I'm lying naked on the floor. Yeah, that's probably not Dido.
Thank you.
Yeah. But dude, that and then I also in that state sometimes I'll turn all the lights off and climb into the shower and just lie
Smart.
down under the hot shower.
But there's something to be said about that, like not being ready to be lying down. Yeah, like has this ever happened to you? Have you ever had to get out of a cab because you thought you were going to puke, but once you're walking, you're fine?
Yes, I once got out of a cab in the middle of the Brooklyn Bridge. Yeah.
I'm good.
The guy was so.
He's like, are you serious?
I was with 3 other people, and I was like, I'm gonna throw up, and he was like, get out. And I was like, and my friends were all like, no, he'll make it to the other side, and the cab driver pulled over in the middle of the Brooklyn Bridge, and there's you can't access the walking path from the car.
Yeah,
lane.
for the Brooklyn Bridge, you can't.
There's an open
There's a
space
divider.
there, which I think people use to kill themselves. So there may be some netting, but I wasn't gonna do some MTV challenge thing to get over the walking path. So I ended up, fortunately it was the middle of the night. It was like 3 a.m. and I just walked all the way down the Brooklyn Bridge, the road to the other side. Then I got to Manhattan and realized I'd walked the wrong way because I lived in Brooklyn.
Oh my God.
And then I like threw up in Manhattan and then got a cab back to Brooklyn.
Oh my God. Dude, speaking of Dido, I just picture you walking, my tears don't come, I'm wondering why I
got out of the cab at all.
Very good.
Yeah.
Dude,
Totally.
hilarious.
Yeah, so, dude, crossfaded, 31 years old, still happening.
Never too old for
What the fuck is the matter
crossfading.
with me?
Good for you, man. I like this, like, fall 2020 end of time Francis drinking. It's like a very good thing, man.
Yeah, and then I got hit with a Venmo request the next day from a buddy of mine for $400 because
For what?
apparently I'd gone all in twice playing poker and lost both times.
Oh, God.
Sunday was one of those days where the scaries started the moment I woke up, and you just feel like it's harder to breathe. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like because you're so anxious?
There's yes.
Yeah.
All day long.
You're like, what did I
you're
must have
having-
acted so stupid. Did I say anything stupid? Do my friends hate me?
Dude, Do you
So embarrassing.
fear
Do you?
trouble? Do you fear trouble?
Trouble? What is that? What the fuck do you mean trouble?
Getting in trouble.
Of course. Yeah.
I think about
I do sometimes.
I wonder if I'm in trouble all the time now.
Dude, you do have a way of getting yourself in trouble.
I get in trouble all the time.
You do have
I'm
a way.
always in trouble for
you,
something.
You have a way. So you're a lovely guy. It's just funny how you find yourself in this situation.
I'm someone who steps in it all the time.
All the time.
And let me tell you something. Not for nothing. Most of the time, I deserve it. I concede that I bring this upon my life. There is a life out there I could be living where I would not be, just finding myself in the crosshairs of people who want to enact vengeance or ask,
Right.
Expect an apology from me.
And that is true. And because that's true, when you don't deserve it, I feel extra bad for you.
Because I don't
that
have a leg
happens too.
I don't have a leg to stand on.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that, but also like for a guy who steps in it regularly, when you actually fully don't deserve it, I'm like, oh, come on, guys.
yeah, give him a
give
break.
this guy a fucking break.
Yeah, he just finished his community service hours for the last thing. Yeah, that's what it is.
Come on. He just got out.
Dude, I'm at the point now where I used to take a lot of every once in a while I would take a mental inventory of what I had done over the last couple weeks, and I would be like, yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. I got nothing to worry about.
Right.
But now the trouble comes from such varied sources that I live in fear of it because I don't know where it's going to come from next.
Right.
To the point where my girlfriend, I had to tell her that she can't start sentences to me a certain way.
What? Well, elaborate.
She can't start a sentence to me by saying, hey, can we talk for a second?
Dude, is there a worse sentence in the world?
But
That's
because
great.
she was using that
So
to
regularly.
say like, I have this big job thing coming up. I want to. And is there any chance I could run my pitch by you?
Right.
She was using that intro sentence, and there's like
Your blood just going
there-
cold.
You almost pass out. In this tiny instant between finding out why we need to sit down to have a conversation and what it actually is. And I had to tell her, I was like, listen, you don't understand what I just went through because of the way that you asked if we could talk. and it was happening so much that I was
That's
like,
really
you can't start with the request and then we'll have the, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, you're cracking me up, man. This is good. This is good stuff.
That happens to me.
That's
And
hilarious.
you just never fucking know. You never know what it's going to be. I had this thought the other day. My measurement for success has changed, and it's now more forward thinking.
In what way?
Well, I've decided that, to me, a big piece of my success would be that I want to be able to tell I want to be able to tell my kids that dad was a big deal once upon a time and they can't roll their eyes.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because
That's a crazy random.
yeah, but think about this, right? So the reason this comes up is that I'm reading Obama's memoir.
Oh, it's like 800 pages, right?
And it's the first volume of 2.
Is it amazing?
Dude,
I need to read it.
this guy,
He was the fucking man, dude.
I love him so much. I'm sorry. I love Obama. Probably like people at, when you hear that romantic quip of you're my favorite person.
Yeah.
I love my girlfriend. She probably is, but Obama's up Obama's up there.
Dude, and
Obama's probably my favorite
politics
person.
aside, Obama just rocks. And I think there's something about like a president who has served already that sort of like makes them nonpartisan
Yeah.
in a weird way. Like George W. Bush, I remember him being like a very contentious figure at the time when he was serving, and now he's just kind of like everybody loves him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that like regardless, like Obama, Like, how do you not fucking like Obama?
Those presidents make it a point. There's a tradition of not speaking ill of your successor, regardless of who they are.
Right.
And I think that's been established for a while. Bush was really good about not saying anything about Obama after Obama. I mean, because he came in and it's like was the opposite president.
Totally. And that, dude, at the time, we felt like America was divided then.
Yeah. And
Forget
Obama,
about it, you know,
hasn't, you know, people have gotten on his case for not speaking out more against Trump, but he
went with the tradition.
That's just kind of the way it was. Now, the Obamas now, to me, are our closest thing that we have to the British royal family. They've become celebrities, tabloid sensations. I don't know if you've seen Sasha, who's the youngest daughter, went viral on Twitter for posting I wouldn't call it a thirst trap, but all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is because we knew them as young girls.
She's a
and now they're becoming, you know, young adults, and they're taking ownership over their own social media and doing what normal young women do. And people are being like, that's not presidential or like whatever. It's like, fuck you. They're normal American citizen girls. Let them do what the fuck they want.
Right.
Malia is, I think, a sophomore or a junior at Harvard. You know, every once in a while, a picture will emerge of her smoking a cigarette. It's like,
right, at like a music festival.
Give them a fucking break. But Harry and
William
went through the same shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The growing pains are just that much more acute when you are
the same way the Kennedys,
family.
dude.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. So Obama, right? Obama is a guy who, if he ever said to his daughters, you guys know that I was a pretty big deal once upon a time, right? Dad was a pretty big deal. They can't roll their eyes.
Right.
It is 100% true, 100% a fact that their father was the success that he and everyone else thought he was.
Totally.
So,
and that's like such a dad joke he would do too. He's like, you know, I was a big deal.
Yeah. But the thing that's fun about it is that when you are that undeniable, you don't even have to say it. Right? So my hope is that I will not have to bring up pictures of when I was in my late 20s, you know, headlining the Wilbur Theater, and tell my kids, like, once upon a time, you know, I actually was a pretty successful comedian, and have them be like, yeah, right, Dad. You know, here we go. No, because by that point, you know, I'm like not doing it anymore or whatever it is. I want to be able to, when they are cognizant young adults or whatever the age is, I want to be like, hey guys, I can't come to your skating thing tonight because I'm playing Madison Square Garden. Sorry. This is how we pay for your skating outfits. And then everyone else at their school is going to be like, your dad's a pretty big deal. That's how it'll work. That's my level of success.
I like that, dude. Mine is much different than that.
It's one version. It's one version. I don't want my kids to not be able to agree, you know?
No, I'm not, and I'm not taking I think yours is a better version than mine. Mine is just, I want to just be handed money for doing nothing.
Yeah, you've said this before.
I don't care what it's for. You know, I just want to have a fucking fat bank account and have plenty of time to enjoy it with no responsibility.
Giulio lives his life as though it's one big game of Monopoly, and he's the right roll away from landing on the community chest.
Well, dude, speaking of which, because last week we were talking about what would you do to get the vaccine, right? I think this is a good thing for us to go out on here. It's a good transition. So my girlfriend Hillary had something come up like this.
Huh.
Would you get the vaccine if situation? So she has a nut allergy.
A real life one.
Yes.
Wow.
She has a nut allergy, as you all know. They're doing these experimental trials for people with nut allergies with the vaccine. You have to be willing to get the vaccine knowing that there's a chance that you will go into anaphylactic shock.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But you'll be monitored. But going into anaphylactic shock is terrible. She's described it to me as beginning to die.
Yeah.
Like your body just starts expanding and you're like going to explode essentially. And then they have to put you under and fucking hit you with that.
That's it. I always thought, doesn't your throat start to constrict because your body doesn't want you to let anything else down?
I think that's part of the inflammation of the allergic reaction. So it's happening there, but it's also happening to your organs.
Wow.
So what'll happen, like if she has one, she'll lick cashew butter and immediately begin dying, dude. So they have to give her an EpiPen, but then she'll have a second wave of the anaphylactic shock, and they have to like put her under. It happened to her this year.
I've heard that the EpiPen is only meant to get you to the hospital so that
Exactly.
you can have your stomach pumped or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
this is a real conversation we're having. She's like, is this worth it?
wait, I have a quick question.
Please.
Are you saying that the vaccine might trigger an allergic reaction in people with nut allergies?
Yes.
That's what they're thinking?
I think maybe it might be certain allergies, but it's definitely nut allergies.
And so they're looking for volunteers to test that theory?
Uh-huh. So she would get a vaccine, but there's a chance that she would go into anaphylactic shock.
I'm surprised
Isn't that
because
crazy?
I think that, yeah, that's nuts. But I'm also surprised because there are enough people out there with nut allergies that I would have thought that would have been a very obvious consideration for them when they're
Like
rolling
when they
this
were
out.
making the
But
vaccine.
because think about this, right? There are so many nurses and first responders and frontline workers that are now getting vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
Are they, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Maybe they are asking all of those people, do you have a nut allergy?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not sure if there's something about the severity that comes into play.
Uh-huh.
Like obviously Hillary has a very severe one.
But does that mean that if you're a nurse or a surgeon and you have a nut allergy,
you're not supposed to get
going to
it.
get the vaccine?
Yeah.
And then does that mean you can't go to work?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's crazy.
These are all good questions.
Wow.
But yeah.
So what'd she say? What's she going to do?
Like we were talking about it this morning, so I don't know. Like, well, I think she should get it. She's not sure.
It's easy for you to say.
Of course, it's easy for me to say. But I said to her, I was like, it's in a way, it's like the best way to get it because like
you're in a controlled
environment
Yeah.
and you're gonna be you're gonna be fine even if it sucks.
Wow.
And then you'll have the vaccine. So it's crazy that's like a real life would you if situation.
That's tough. Yeah. Well, best of luck to her. Keep us posted if she does decide
I will.
to get it.
I will.
But yeah, wow. Okay, cool. That's Oops the Podcast, everybody. Happy holidays. Enjoy this strange, amorphous time between between New Year's, Christmas and New Year's, and have fun out there, people. Drink. Try not to get crossfaded. We'll see you soon. I'm Francis, and he's Giulio. That's Oops the Podcast.
Guys, if you like this video, we got plenty of other videos. Just click and subscribe and check them out. Thank you very much.
Oops.